The summary of who I am is this. I be worry boy. I know sabi speak English like all the other ones. So maybe this my section is not for everybody. So if you know I am for you and you are for me, can I see your hand? Okay, at least. Oh, wait to everybody. Okay, it's good. So there's a disclaimer I need to put out. There's a fly running around here. That's to tell you that. So this TEDx is an international platform, so it's not just for everyone here. So for those of you in the international audience watching us, even our flies like the spotlight. So just allow these flies running around. That's why they're flies. All right, great. I'm just going to move right into it because I do not have time. This is not a lie. Like I said, they have almost exhausted my ideas, so the one that I have is very small. So I'm tempted to say, as a matter of fact, I do not have any idea anymore, but, I'm just going to say I have little. So I'll run through it. Before I start, this is true life story. Being here is very humbling for me. This is my third time in Kebbi. My last assignment in Kebbi, I was working for one campaign where I had the humble opportunity of meeting His Excellency and Her Excellency for the first time. And then I left Kebbi saying to myself that, honestly, if every governor in Nigeria is like this man, I swear to God, Nigeria will be a great place. Now, I'm speaking in terms of his personality, his character. And I said to myself that one day I'm going to come back to Kebbi on a different note, and miraculously I am here. What is my story? Many years ago, as a little boy growing up, I say I know I speak English, when I go, excuse me, small. I go English first, say TEDx now, international. Many years ago, as a little boy growing up, television was one thing that opened my eyes to the world. Like some of you here, I grew up from a very poor and very humble family. The people who were poor in my neighborhood used us as an example. True. We were the example of poor people, not them, to tell you how poor. As a matter of fact, the church I grew up in, they had mercy on my mother, and they had to lend her a farmland just right opposite the church, which was not cool for me as a little boy because, the girls used to like me. And then I'll show up, these girls who will be coming with their parents to church, and then they will be seeing this boy that likes to farm, big boy with nothing, farming. And I used to just hide my face to farm. Because I had a narrative in my head that amidst the poverty, amidst the things that I did not have, there's so many excuses that a lot of us today would say, oh, I do not have this, that's why I'm not like this. Just so you know, by the time I'm done with my session, some of you will look at me and say, yeah, if that guy can do it, I can do it. So, yeah, wow. Okay, I think I'm making sense. All right, so technically, I grew up with that sort of contrast. On one side, very poor. My mother used to work for Leventis back in the days. How many of you know Leventis? Okay, all you millennials don't. You know ShopRite, it's okay. So Leventis was the ShopRite of the before. Now, my mother used to work as a storekeeper. Storekeepers, basically, they do inventories of all the goods, especially the ones that are going into expiry date. They will remove them from the shelf and put fresh ones. So they will share these expired goods to first the storekeepers and then every other thing. So you're looking at a child that literally ate a lot of expired food growing up. Maybe that's why I'm a genius today, I don't know, but hey, So I'm going to move quickly past this. Again, I'm taking some of you on a journey that says your excuse is zero compared to where your future is calling you towards. Now, as a kid in primary school, growing up in Warri, my mates would be in the class. I would take my exercise book, I would sit outside, and I'll fold these things, and I'll just be looking for birds until the birds disappear. Now, the kids in class, when they want to describe me, they'll tap my other classmate and say, Siamo, Siam. You don't decrease. You know, translation for the international audience, the guy is going crazy. All right, so, but they never knew that I had a theme for visuals. And like I said earlier, television was my eyes and soul to the world. Remember back in the days where we had, of course, we still have NTA till date, but NTA was a lifesaver for me. This was how television used to start back in the days. So let me just give all you millennials some old school talk for a minute. What happens before we have programs show up on TV? What's the first thing that comes? You have colored lines, right? And then when the colored line shows up, what's the next thing that comes? And I used to wonder, why are these people trying to deaf our ear with this noise, right? And then after that, what then happens? No. After the color bars, what comes up next is this. Boom, 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 brrr. Come on, let's go. Thank you very much. So you see, that's good, that's good, that's good, that's good. And then after that, somebody comes on screen and the person starts to take us through what? All the programs for the day, right? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the program of the day. First, we will take you to blah, 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 and they run through that stuff. Now, here's something interesting. I used to like all of that, and because we had a black and white TV, and as a genius child, I figured out a way to turn my mother's black and white TV called President to colored. How did I do it? I took a Lucozade Boost recycled foil paper, I took sellotape, and I stuck it to it. And I was very excited. I'll call my brothers and my sister and call my mom and be like, yo, colored, colored, colored. And then they would look at me and be like, yeah, you know. So great. So I knew that television was something for me. I used to also be very fascinated as to how people, as a kid, you're seated, TV comes on, and then somebody appears on your TV, right on your screen, right? Did they pass through the door? No. Pass through window? No. Did you see them come through the wires? No. How? I never knew that there was something called a camera. Now, connect the dots. As a kid, again, I used to be fascinated with moving images that I will fold my exercise book instead of being in class, right? Good. I'm taking you somewhere. One day, I got frustrated, and I tried to crack a hole on the TV. I even tried to unscrew the back of the TV so that they will fall out. And then I'll ask them, how do you guys get into this thing? None of them worked. There is a content that I saw on TV growing up, and that changed my life. I would see, NTA still does it to today, they would show you this montage of notable places in Nigeria, right? And I would see these images of Abuja here, there, and then boom, this image and video montage of these fishermen charging to the waters with so much grace, with poise, with passion, like we're going to die today. And you see them, they'll run with this big ball calabash. And then you see these stacks of nets, like designed in such a way that, you know, like when you see stuff that aliens design, you probably think that, yeah, aliens, they really do exist. But these guys will artfully arrange these nets in the waters. And then I'll look at these people and say to myself, this guy's crazy, just for fish. What is this? For me, it wasn't the fish or the net or the fishermen. It was the burning passion that they had. Now, that one image, and God is my witness, inspired something very early, and I said to myself that I want to experience passion like these guys through something I love. Now, because we have limited time, I'm just going to speed right up to somewhere. Today, that thing called a camera in my hand. Like Anand said, you know, when she gave that sentence about what a camera is to her, I was like, oh God, my idea is going again. But that was so true. Because over the years, with just a camera in my hand, like this guy standing right in front of you, that one camera has taken me to places that people now call my parents to say, I heard someone's name. I just want to confirm, because the way we thought about your family, It was not possible that somebody would be here and burying your surname. I have not only traveled far and wide, I have not only had opportunities of talking to top dignitaries and also little kids in the ghetto. I am standing right in this same spot, this same state and place on a platform called TEDx what? Argungu. Now, I know I have a few minutes left, and it's intentional to tell you this story because I believe there's somebody here. You may not understand the technicalities behind some of the presentation, but someone's story will cause you to go back home and say, wait a minute, I do not have anything, but I have something. It may look like we don't have this much, but I personally have something. My idea is this, or rather I would say the topic of what I designed and said I was going to talk about is this: creating your narrative, telling your own story from a place of strength. I've given you my background. If I had not started with that story, some of you would think that I grew up from a very wealthy family, right? Good. So that background, truly my story. And I am where I am today, not because I am the most intelligent, not because I am the best content creator. Oh, by the way, what I do now is very simple. I'm a content producer, I'm an event producer, and I do a lot of consulting as well, for corporate organizations in channeling their communications to meet a targeted needs. Now, back to this. What is your story? Please just ask someone, just make it very common. Just turn to someone and say, what's your story? Let's do it again. Just ask someone, what's your story? Please, don't bother answering, because we will not leave here today. All right. Now, let me tell you something interesting. How many of you understand that the narrative of Africa is very poor? How many of us believe that? The narrative of Africa is so poor that you will think that, hey, come on, in this day and age, we still fly on trees and we walk around like gods must be crazy kind of people, or, that story. That's not who we are. But guess what? The challenge is this. Each and every one of us isn't doing justice to telling our stories because we feel our stories aren't good enough. My story growing up as a little child, if I told you this story from a point that says, please, brother, help me, you're going to feel empathic towards me, right? The confidence at which I speak about myself right now, does it give you the confidence that this young man is going somewhere? Does it give you that confidence? You know why? From day one, though, na Gary with the soak, me I know say one day I go lick ice cream. I tell now, I be worried boy you. Yesterday, you see, they're not quick tell me, say governor and the wife, they come. Now, yesterday night, now they tell me, so I can't get to behave myself small. But you see, the worried or they come out. Area. If I not do like this, worry people, they don't forgive me. I'm just going to switch for a moment. All right, great. So you see, telling our stories you cannot override that. I traveled with Mrs. Kofo, and wallahi, if I know say na that woman I follow sit down for plane, I for hold am. See, Madam Kofo, this is my ATM card. In case it's spoiled, I know where to go now. All right. So you see, telling our story is very important, like she did. Immediately she told her story, it changed an entire perspective of a journey for me. So you see, it is very important to know that whoever you are, whatever you do, high up there, mid, at the bottom, understand that we as Africans, as Nigerians, as people of Kirby or Argungu, we are very resilient people. That is the true definition of who we are as Africans. So it is important that no matter what you do, just keep telling your story and tell it from a place of strength because your ancestors fought real hard. A lot of them did not give up. Why? Because they saw your own future, my own future. They knew that from a very early age that me, one day, I will stand there and I'll speak to the governor and also to top presidents, top dignitaries, and people who will change the narrative of this state 20 years, 10 years to come. Do you believe this? Now I'm going to end with this. Listen. The future of a random child, somewhere, maybe 10, 20 generations from now, we may not know, but I'll tell you this one truth. The future of that child may not rest on the quality of his or her educational qualification. The future of that child may rest on one of your stories that was told many years ago, like Argungu story I saw, and changed my perspective. So understand that if you do not tell your stories and tell it from a place of strength, the void of negativity that we represent in Africa, like they'll tell you when you mention the North in America, they'll say, oh, is it the child place? No, in British, that was British actually. Or is it the place with Boko Haram? Boko Haram don't kidnap us as we come here, so. Do you guys shake hands with Boko Haram every day? But listen, until we work hard in telling individually our stories, and how do you do that? We have control right now, the internet. On your social media platform, do not celebrate the negativities. Do not celebrate the pain. It's okay to talk about it because there's healing in vulnerability, right? But celebrate your success. And I know that one day, same way I have been inspired and I am back here to speak to this same historic people of value called Argungu and Kebi people. One day, some kid from a far distant place will come back here and say, your story changed my life. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.